What is it? More brutes?
Worse.
I don't think I have to prove to anybody that modern gaming is a shadow of its former self. Once a medium of adventure and wonder is now a bug-ridden dumpster fire that keeps asking me for my mom's credit card so I can buy the next Skibidi toilet skin. Unlike the girthy gaming days of yesteryear, unless you want to play a game that's super fun and makes you want to be unemployed the rest of your life, you're just out of luck, chimp. Gone are the days of completely finished games that are chock full of complete content at launch. Wait a minute, you thought after paying $60 the game was going to be finished on launch? Sorry, man, you're just going to have to wait until we update the thing. Oh, hey, patch notes just came in. We just changed the price to $70. You know, I would say that I hate to be that guy, but I don't. Games were just better when I was younger. When I was still crapping my pants at the ripe age of 14, just like any other boy would, I remember the industry was putting out banger after banger. Man, we're talking about Gears of War, Halo before 343 took them out back and old yellered them, the legendary classic game Viva Pinata. Okay, maybe not that last one. I mean, heck, if you go back to the PS2 era, you get some certified classics like Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, or my personal favorite, the Holy Grail, the cream of the crop, baby, Jak and Daxter. Oh mama. These games were for the most part bug-free and completely feature-complete at launch. In today's age, you get games like Concord that spread you goatsy, hit you right in your chocolate starfish, and then head out with all your money and wasted time. But hey, at least you know Chappie's pronouns with the other 4 goofy goobers that bought the game. Look, I'm not an industry expert by no means, but I think that we can all agree that something has seriously went terribly wrong here. And with games on the horizon like Assassin's Creed Shadows, I don't think we've seen the end of it by any means. So unless you have Big Papa Trump roll out an executive order saying, yo, quit ruining video games.
That's a big one, huh?
I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of difference, guys. Now, not all is doom and gloom. We still have indie games that come out and knock the AAA games out of the water, making all the executives panic and try to copy that. But, brother, they're few and far between. And you have sleeper hits too, but that's a rabbit hole even Alice wouldn't go down. You could be out there looking for these sleeper hits for hours, just doom scrolling on your PC, until finally after you've passed the 5,000th Gooner game on Steam, you're like, well, I'm just gonna go lay down, hug up against my anime waifu pillow, look up at the ceiling and say, what would Chief do? I tell you what Chief would do. He'd come in and hit us with a certified banger. But thanks to 343, we ain't gonna have that. Rest in peace, Chief. Rest in peace. Now, I know I'm not the only one that's been hearing all this hubbub, all this hullabaloo about GTA 6 costing over $100 on release. They've got to be out of their collective minds if they think that I'm going to drop $100 on any video game. If they do end up doing this, and I hope that they don't, I encourage everyone to throw the Boston Steam Party. Please do not let them get away with selling $100 games that are going to be absolutely unfinished on release and have cyberpunk levels of bugs. If this turns out to be true, I want a little bit of what these guys are smoking. It's got to be pretty dadgum stout. $100 for a video game is highway robbery. But the sad thing is I know that there is going to be some guy out there, and probably a lot of them, who are going to be willing to pay for this. And to those people I say, you, sir, are a disgrace. These other companies are practically just waiting for Rockstar to pull that $70 rug out from everybody, hit them with that $100 price tag, and rake in the fat cheddar. Well, boys, I'm just going to have to let you know right now, I'm not going to stand for it. I'll be out there on the front lines with my Code Red Mountain Dew and Doritos screaming, we won't go silently into the night. I'm going to be out in the street standing on a car giving a speech like the president from Independence Day. It's really hard to believe that the industry has finally got to this point. That a game can be released with more bugs than a national forest and cost that much money is just wild. The fact that microtransactions aren't enough already, that they have to jack up the base price of the game so the company can see some more of that sweet unlimited growth. Now they're going to sit here and tell us that, oh, well, inflation, we've got inflation, and oh, we've got problems with rising gaming costs with development. Well, how do you explain the last 20 years of inflation and the gaming costs haven't changed until recently? Explain that one, gaming industry. The difference between gaming and every other industry in the world, let's take food for instance. If I go to McDonald's and I buy a hamburger, they're not going to sit here and give me the patty and say, oh, don't worry, we're going to make the rest of the hamburger in 2 more months. They'd go out of business overnight. But the gaming industry does that to us constantly with these live service games and these microtransactions. Oh, we'll give it to you later. Don't worry. It's still in the oven. It's still baking. Just pay $70. Just bank on the promise of a finished game. I wouldn't be shocked if they started charging for more quests and parts of the story at this point, which they've ruined that as well. And that leads me into my next topic. You know, it's usually good to stay away from politics because it usually causes a bit of trouble. But you can't talk about the state of gaming unless you talk about the woke crap. It spans from non-binary characters, transgender characters. You know, if buggy games weren't enough, now you've got to deal with these preachy, underwritten, and extremely annoying characters in your games that no one wanted or asked for. They have to constantly tell you why you're racist and why you're evil, while you're sitting there thinking, why in the hell did I purchase this game?
You are racist.
Dragon Age the Veilguard is the most recent culprit I can think of that implements this sort of mentality. In the game, you have a bull character named Tosh that makes it very clear that she wants to be heard loud and proud and everybody to see that she is non-binary, and it completely takes you out of the experience.
So, I'm non-binary.
Who the f starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
What little there is of one anyways. I'm sure you've even heard about the DEI thing. There's a game that's going to come out this year. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Assassin's Creed Shadow. It's the new and fresh version of Assassin's Creed. In this Assassin's Creed, you play in feudal Japan, you know, where it's just primarily Japanese people. Well, they had to sprinkle a little bit of that DEI sauce in there, and they dropped a black guy right in the middle of feudal Japan. Now, to be fair, he was an actual person in history that was in Japan. But that being said, it's not known if he was actually a samurai or not. And it seemed that most gamers in Japan were not a fan of this decision. Wonder what else kind of diversity things they're going to have in there. I wonder if the cast of characters are going to go eat at a Mexican restaurant. Heck, they might even celebrate the 4th of July. This isn't really that big of a deal to me, but it does take you out of the immersion, and it's just super out of place. It's kind of like having a Native American constructed into the Roman Legion to be a centurion. It's just, that doesn't make any sense. Shoehorning in characters just for the sake of diversity is just goofy, and it just completely takes you out of the story because it's so out of place. Now, the shape that Ubisoft is in, and as much backlash as the game has gotten, we might see a change in their tune, but only the future can tell. Same with the rest of the industry. Hopefully things will get better. Maybe we won't get $100 games. Maybe they'll stay the same. Maybe things will get better on the story side. Hopefully things will definitely get better on the gameplay side, because that's more of what I'm worried about. And hopefully microtransactions will no longer exist within the next 5 years. I know that's wishful thinking, but man, I really hate those microtransactions. But the only way that we're going to make a change, at least on our end, is to just stop buying this slop. Watch reviews. Watch people talk about these games and play them and say, hey, that's probably not for me. You've probably heard it 1,000 times, vote with your wallet. Well, trust me, it actually does work if everybody's in agreement and says, hey, let's stop funding this garbage. But you got to work together. You got to agree. You got to work for a better future, or in this case, a better gaming future. I don't know what the future of the gaming industry is going to bring, and I don't know what's out there on the horizon for the next couple of games that may come out. But I do know one thing. The gaming industry is bigger than it's ever been, and hopefully we can make it not suck dick.